Is Darth Vader my father?
Oh, wait a minute. I don't like the looks of this. Let me get this fixed. R2, you're supposed to be watching that.
Your tauntaun will freeze before you reach the first marker.
Then I'll see you in hell.
Greetings, one and all, and welcome to this special pre-recorded edition of the Week in Review with Stone Loki and the Rooster Dave Bob. How are you doing, brother?
Doing good. Hey, how's everybody doing? We're gonna be meeting up with a lot of folks here.
Heck yes, and we should be doing a live stream on the road at some point this weekend. I cannot wait to get to Nashville to spend time with everybody. I'm gonna get to meet. Oh my god, I can't believe I can't talk right. I'm gonna get to meet this guy right here to the right of me when we're in Nashville. I cannot wait to get together with him, Darth Arlena, EBN. Mexican Iron Man. It's going to be a crazy, crazy weekend, guys.
Yeah, wish all y'all could be here or there
or everywhere. So, guys, we've got a couple of things we want to go over that have happened this week. We understand this was recorded on Wednesday, but the big bombshells this week, we've got 3 of them. Of course, the Elon Musk Twitter buyout. We're going to talk about James Gunn defending Chris Pratt. And we're also going to talk about the PTSD denial and how Amber Heard shows signs of borderline and histrionic personality disorders.
That's not sounding too good.
No, she got absolutely wiped out in court. And I have got a Bounding into Comics article to share with you guys. Let me share this screen. We'll go into the Amber Turd stuff first. This is, of course, in Bounding into Comics, Spencer Bakuli, forensic psychologist, offers testimony that Amber Heard did not have PTSD, instead showed signs of borderline and histrionic personality disorders.
Which means that basically she's just a severe narcissist.
And there she is, giving that lovely face and Aquaman. According to testimony given by clinical and forensic psychologist Dr. Shannon Curry, as part of Johnny Depp's defamation trial against Amber Heard, various mental evaluations of the Aquaman actress found that she not only exhibited no signs of suffering from the post-traumatic stress disorder she claims to have developed due to her ex-husband's alleged abuses, but also exhibited signs of both borderline and histrionic personality disorders. For those of you out there who do not know, personality disorders can have immediate mood-altering effects. This goes line in line with bipolar disorder. She could be absolutely fine one minute, happy as a clam, absolutely hysteric, nonsensical the next.
That really sounds a lot like what's been going on for years.
And what she did to Johnny.
Yep.
There's also been news that Milani Cosmetics obliterated Amber Heard's claim that she used their products to cover up bruises from Johnny, because the product she claims to have been carrying the entire time they were together didn't come out till a year after they were into their divorce proceedings.
Getting caught on your own lies. It's something that happens to the best of them. Honestly, her lawyers aren't doing her any favors either. When they get up there and they start cross-examining people and they basically end up making her look bad. That's not how, your lawyers are supposed to handle things.
And this information was admitted as evidence. She could be looking at lying to the court, lying to the jury. This is perjury.
Mm-hmm.
And it's on her. Taking the stand in Fairfax, VA on April 25th, Dr. Curry opened her testimony, beginning with questions from Depp's legal team by laying out her role in the case and explaining to the court that she had been retained by Depp's legal team for her specialized training working with post-traumatic stress disorder, traumatic stress. Initially, said Dr. Curry, my role that I understood at the time was to review the case materials and provide my opinions regarding anything that I noticed that was consistent or even inconsistent with the psychological science that exists today on intimate partner violence in Mr. Depp and Miss Heard's relationship. She further noted that her role had evolved over time as she was retained at the end of January 2021 and then had just barely begun to review the documents. The case was postponed, and then in October 2021, I was asked by counsel to provide a psychological evaluation of Miss Heard. This is Dr. Shannon Curry here in this picture.
I like the way she handles herself on the witness stand too. It's very disconcerting for Amber Heard's counsel when they're trying to trip her up. She makes them look foolish.
Well, they've had plenty of opportunities to make themselves look foolish, and they have taken all those opportunities to make themselves look foolish.
Yeah. You can't make this shit up, folks.
No, absolutely positively not. As to provide details on what materials and information she relied upon for said evaluation, Dr. Curry proceeded to detail that the documents she reviewed included all of the case documents, Ms. Heard's medical records by Dr. Kipper, her prior mental health treatment records. I believe I reviewed records from Dr. Amy Banks, Dr. Bonnie Jacobs, Dr. Connell Cohen, and also a significant portion of my review involved notes from Nurse Erin Filati, at the time Aaron Borum, who spent a significant time with Miss Heard in her direct company. Also reviewed exhibits, she continued, quite a few audio recordings, a video recording, several video recordings or possibly photographs, might be getting them confused, and multiple witness statements, testimony, and declarations. Dr. Curry additionally noted that she had also spent 12 hours with Heard conducting in-person evaluations, at the end of which she found that the results of Miss Heard's evaluation supported 2 diagnoses: borderline personality disorder and histrionic personality disorder. Personality is something we take for granted, but these are the traits, the characteristics, the way we think, we feel, and we act that make us who we are, she informed the court. A personality disorder is some sort of dysfunction in those enduring traits. Turning briefly to her methodology, Dr. Curry stated that the numerous tests she used in reaching this conclusion, the most important was the second edition of the Minnesota Multiphasic Personality Inventory, or the MMPI-2, which asks 567 questions or statements, and the person either agrees or disagrees with them, how much the statement represents them. The MMPI-2 has a set of validity scales, we call them. These are scales that measure really the truthfulness and accuracy with which a person is approaching the test. They can tell us a lot about if someone is, for instance, exaggerating. Are they evaluating one of the scales that shows that they're exaggerating on purpose? Are they exaggerating in a manner that's more like a cry for help? Pressed by Johnny Depp's attorney for insight into what she was able to learn about Miss Heard from the results of the MMPI-2, Dr. Curry asserted, "One of the primary things I learned was that she had a very sophisticated way of minimizing any personal problems. Some of the primary characteristics," she detailed, "were essentially externalization of blame," meaning she likes to blame other people for the shit she does, tending to have a lot of inner hostility that is attempted to be controlled, self-hatred, a tendency to be very self-righteous, but to also deny that self-righteousness and to judge others critically against these sort of high standards for moral value, but also to deny doing that, essentially to claim that one is very non-judgmental and accepting and yet very full of rage. This is SJWism in a nutshell, ladies and gentlemen. To act like you are non-judgmental, but when in reality, you are very judgmental.
Yep. Always blaming everyone else on the exact things you're doing.
And these aren't facts she offered as a small savant, but her scores essentially correlated, so they were consistent with other people who have obtained these scores, who have been shown through many, many, many studies to have been very specific traits. Returning to the disorder themselves, Dr. Curry then told the court, borderline personality disorder is a disorder of stability. It's instability. And it's instability in personal relationships, it's instability in their emotions, it's instability in their behavior, and it's instability in their sense of self and their identity. And that instability is really driven by this underlying terror of abandonment, which is exactly what Johnny was going to do. More and more, Johnny was inching away from this crazy woman that he had involved himself in. He was inching away from the fact that she was completely unstable. He was inching away from the fact that she had done these things, that she had pushed him to the point where he locked himself in a room, where he had locked himself in a bathroom, where he would do anything just to have 5 seconds of peace because she would not stop. And that made her even more angry at him and at herself for what is going on. And she took it all out on him.
It's a wonder he didn't go just totally bonkers. That kind of pressure all the time. And it sounds like, that was going on for a very, very long time.
When someone is afraid of being abandoned by their partner or by anybody else in their environment, and they have this disorder, they'll make desperate attempts to prevent that from happening. Those desperate attempts could be physical aggression. It could be threatening. It could be harming themselves. But these are behaviors that are usually very extreme and very concerning to the people around them. If you have been in a relationship with someone similar, you pick up on key things that these people do, and it's like a warning light that's screaming at you, get the hell out, and get the hell out now. Don't stick around for this. Hopefully Johnny sees this now and doesn't put himself in a position like this ever again. A lot of the key features are going to be drama and shallowness, underlying drive of avoiding abandonment. Whereas BPD might have more of the visible reactivity if somebody seems to be leaving. With HPD, what you're going to see is extreme discomfort at not being the center of attention, extreme efforts to be the center of attention. When they feel they are not the center of attention, you will see some strange things. Making up stories to try and get attention, often taking on a victim or princess role, shitting the bed, ladies and gentlemen. Those two roles in particular are pretty consistent. Seeking care, taking. Further question is whether she was able to form any other opinions about Miss Heard's mental status. In addition to looking for Miss Heard's general mental status, any psychological issues that were present, I very specifically was assessing to determine whether post-traumatic stress disorder was present, and it was not. That is because, ladies and gentlemen, all of everything that happened in her mind happened the way she saw it, because she could not be at fault for any of this. It's not just about lying to the lawyers. It's not just about lying to Johnny. It's not just about lying to a judge. It's not just about lying to every one of you. It's about lying to herself and her actually believing she was in the right and he was in the wrong.
There it is. In a nutshell, she has gone so far that she actually believes the things she's saying.
The interview, the review of the data, the case records, other people's testimony, her treatment records, and then I also conducted, in addition to the MMPI-2 and looking at that data, I also conducted the clinical administered PTSD scale, CAP-5, which is the gold standard PTSD assessment developed by the National Center for PTSD, shown to be valid and accurate for use not just with service members, but also with civilians, men, women, all genders, all ethnicities, and also specifically for use in a courtroom setting. Taking all of this into consideration, she stated she ultimately determined Miss Heard did not have PTSD, and there were pretty significant indications that she was grossly exaggerating symptoms of PTSD when asked about them. There are 20 kinds of core symptoms that someone can manifest with PTSD, she said. You don't have to have them all. Ms. Heard initially said that she had, in the first question relating to a given system, you said, do you ever have this? Before you get to the more nuanced follow-up questions. When I asked the first question on each item, she initially said, yes, I have that, of 19 of the 20 symptoms. That's not typical, even of somebody with the most disabling form of PTSD.
Gracious.
When we eventually sort of dialed it down, she had 3 remaining symptoms, and having symptoms of any disorder is common for all of us. Some of us struggle with sleep, some of us get anxiety. It could be several different disorders. It could just be that you have this struggle in your life. These 3 specific symptoms, she said, were sleep disturbance. Shit, I have that. A startle response wherein she gets startled or surprised and she tends to stay in sort of a hyper-startled mode for a while. Reoccurring nightmares. Shit, most of us can say that. Especially after we watch that right there. As her time on the stand drew to a close, Dr. Curry pushed back against definitive assertions made by other mental health experts in support of Heard's claim. Under cross-examination by Heard's attorney, Elaine Bredehoft, the doctor was asked whether she recalled Dr. Cohen testifying in that deposition you were present for, referring to Mr. Depp, his controlling nature, jealousy, and suspiciousness, addiction to drugs and alcohol, and violent and indulgent temper. You recall him using those terms describing Mr. Depp. Remember thinking that would have been an inappropriate impression for a treating provider of a different person to give. But I do recall him making that statement. Moments later, Bredoff would similarly inquire as to whether Dr. Curry recalled Dr. Banks saying that she was not surprised that Amber was seeking a restraining order because of the violence that she knew existed in their relationship. She said, I do recall that, and it would be impossible to know that violence exists as a treating therapist or as a psychologist. Again, we're not investigators. So for anybody out there that doesn't know, a lot of therapy, a lot of psychology is being honest. And guess what? A lot of people, you wouldn't believe this, but a lot of people that go to psychologists, that go to therapists, aren't completely honest with them. These people, these therapists, these psychologists can only help you if you're being honest. If you're lying, if you're avoiding, if you're playing games with them, they can't treat you. They can't help you. You have to be honest. You have to give that. If you're lying, if you're being dishonest, if you're not telling the truth, if you're exaggerating things, nothing they can do can help you.
Why are you even going if you're not going to be honest about?
That's right. That is right. And that is, what do you think about her, Dave Bob? What do you think after going through this and looking at this and talking about this? What do you think about her?
Honestly, she needs help. The woman, she's a mess. She can't, help herself anymore. I don't see how she can function in society with the the way she acts, and her desperate attempt to hang on to Johnny Depp, even after he pretty much was trying to get out of it, just goes to prove, what people will do to try to, keep someone around that doesn't want to be there.
Now, there were rumors that she slept with James Franco during a film.
I'm not going to say one way or another. I wasn't there, but there's a lot of stuff you hear that is probably valid, but like I said, it's kind of like anything, I didn't put eyeballs on it, so I can't really comment on it.
One of the things that the doctor here talks about is her creating events to manipulate her partner. I believe personally, this is just my belief, I could be wrong, but this is the way I see it. I believe that she is responsible for that leaked information.
Oh.
From listening to her talk about Johnny being a man, Johnny standing up for her, Johnny doing this, Johnny doing that, very similar to what Will Smith is dealing with right now with Jada Pinkett. I believe that the events of what supposedly happened, whether she slept with James Franco or not, she is responsible for that information because she wanted to elicit a response from Johnny Depp. She wanted him to ride in like a knight in white shiny armor and save her. And that's not what happened. It didn't work out the way she wanted. And
If that was her intent, it for sure didn't.
And every time an event happened, whether she manipulated it or not, and Johnny didn't respond the way she wanted him to, she jumped his ass. And it was a fight. And it was a furious fight. Because she expected him to react in this way and prove his love and defend his lady's honor and pretty much be a simp for her. And that's not how it worked out.
No. And I will say another thing that I'm glad of. It looks like Will Smith is finally getting out of that bad situation he's into finally. Also,
I think when he does, he's going to be very happy that he did it. I think right now he's kind of on the oh my God, everything's falling apart. But I think once all that is done, once all that is said and done, once that is over, and he is out from under that woman's thumb, things are going to be better. I used to have this term, Dave Bob, about whittling, and used to drive my ex absolutely crazy. Because she would not stop. There was no stopping. Like when Johnny's talking about, I can't even get a minute timeout. Every boxer needs like a minute to sit down between rounds, and I can't even get that. I very much understood that when he was talking about that, because I have been in that position before and I felt exactly the same way. My God, can't this stop just for a minute and we can go back and talk to it later? Nope. Has to fight, has to argue, has to go on, has to blah, 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 blah. And I used to call it whittling down. You want to whittle me down until I'm just nub. There's nothing left.
That type of situation, you've got to get out of it. It will destroy you if you let it keep going.
And once you see that, once you see it for what it is, once you understand it, you know you never want to go back to that ever again. And you never want to let that happen. And sometimes that's what it takes to know, hey, I don't want to stick my twig and berries in a bear trap again. It's that simple.
Never dip into crazy.
Never dip into crazy. So let's talk Elon Musk.
Oh, that man has just come out swinging. I mean, I'll admit it. I was wrong. I thought to myself, we talked about this a couple of weeks ago. I said, the far left is never going to let him, take over Twitter. I said that, is never going to happen. That the powers that be are not going to let it happen. But he came out swinging, and boy, did he deliver a knockout punch.
He told them exactly what was going to happen. And even after they enacted the poison pill, he still did it.
Yep. Proved to him that he had the funds, the liquid cash, to make the offer, and they had no ability to dispute it. Therefore, they had to come to terms, or else they would have been, going against their shareholders' interests. And you can't have that with a board of directors.
And you see some angry people here in this picture. You've got Obi up on the left.
Have you seen Data Racer's clips of all the people that want to kill him? I mean,
yeah.
Jeez.
The threat to Elon right now is through the roof because he has opened the doors. He has pulled back the curtain. They can't hide.
Yep, he's shining a light into the corners where all the cockroaches are.
So you got Obi up in the left. You got AC over on top right. You've got HC. It's funny, I didn't even think about that. AOC in the right, HC in the bottom left, and then JB down in the bottom right-hand corner. And then Musk just chilling, sunglasses on.
I tell you, when I got to that, the word Monday morning, whenever that first came out, it was just there. It looks like it's going to happen. And then a few hours later, when it actually did, oh man, it was like walking out into the sunlight and just taking a clean, deep breath of fresh air. I mean, I could just feel the energy of Twitter just totally changing. I mean, it was something to behold, honestly. I mean, really, Monday was a great day.
So many comments from channels that we know that we associate with, that we look up to, Geeks and Gamers, as Gary from Nerdrotic. So many people have been commenting about this and how it just feels different. Who would have ever thought we would wake up one morning and be like, I can't wait to see what's on Twitter this morning.
And I'm just going to throw this out there. We need Carmen Pasha back on Twitter. They need to restore his account.
Restore Cameron Pasha's account. Absolutely. Absolutely. So, this article is from Slade Hale over at Bounding into Comics and says, never underestimate the man known as Elon Musk, responsible for creating the world's coolest electric vehicles, one-upping NASA on spacefaring technology, and making hilarious marionettes out of congressional Democrats and far-left wokesters. It's official. Twitter is now owned solely and completely by Elon Musk. And he's taking it private. What does this mean for the culture wars? Quite a lot, as it turns out. In fact, this could be the death blow that traditional liberals, conservatives, and disenfranchised independents have been waiting for. And it couldn't have come at a better time. At the beginning of the year, I theorized in a previous Founding in Comics article that the culture wars would undergo a massive paradigm shift throughout 2022. It seems my predictions are coming true. And the Twitter buyout may end up being Thor's proverbial axe aiming for the head and striking a killing blow.
Good analogy.
Quite frankly, it's amazing that this day came to pass, especially since Musk's original bid to take over Twitter was met with a poison pill strategy by the company's board, which sought to play keep away for all the marbles. Undeterred, Musk soldiered on, upping the stakes in such a way that the board would have violated their fiduciary duty if they attempted another roadblock. This couldn't have come at a more symbolic time, especially in light of all the crushing body blows and shiners the left has taken in recent weeks, leaving them dazed and confused. Musk's eye-watering buyout of Twitter is a poetic inverse mirror image of CNN Plus and its spectacular and costly $300 million collapse. What has Loki been saying about the streaming services? What has Loki been saying? Loki's been telling you guys that this whole push for streaming services is going to be the end of certain companies.
Yep.
CNN Plus is gone. Paramount Plus is around the corner. Just wait.
I am drawn.
That was loud. It could also be said that Twitter's tyrannical board brought this upon themselves, with the anti-First Amendment radical CEO Parag Agrawal leading the entire group over the side of a cliff. It's hard to imagine Musk wanting to keep Agrawal on board in any official capacity, which means he may soon have to find another platform to fly his ugly trade. There's the door. Don't let it hit you on the ass on the way out.
Very beautiful. I mean, did you see the article where the lead counsel for Twitter was at a meeting and she cried
in tears?
Yeah,
in tears. Who is gonna keep the leftists safe?
Who is gonna hold back the hordes?
Who's gonna hold back the tide? Of horrible. This is all about horrible white-ist ob Yahtzees. Where have we heard that before, ladies and gentlemen? Doom and gloom over the takeover. What was that, Dave Bob?
I was just going to say, we need to take our wins and we need to keep pressing forward. This is one battle. The war is still going on out there, and they're going to keep coming, so we need to take it to them. All this woke crap is starting to fray on everybody's nerves, and it's starting to go down. I mean, Disney, losing out with all their little perks in Florida, and Netflix losing thousands and thousands of subscribers, and their stock plunging 30-40%. I mean, it's starting to come undone, and the wheels are coming off, and it's glorious.
And they're going to ride this car till it dies.
Yep.
They're going to ride this car until you can't ride it anymore. Some of the kids out there that have grown up a little bit, you had a car, I'm sure, at 16 to 18 at some point that you rode the shit out of until it died. And that's exactly what these people are going to do. They're going to ride it until there's nothing left to ride. In many ways, it would have been a return to the decades of yore, where a handful of politically left-leaning news outlets decided what made a good story and what should be mothballed. In an age of hyper-partisan leftist radicalism, this scenario was far more insidious and grim, extending far beyond grasping $4. The media left felt their control slip away with the rise of independent journalism, driven largely by the likes of individuals like Tim Pool competing outlets like the Daily Wire and some of us here on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
The left have been bleeding viewers like a throat wound for years, while alternative sources continue to surge in strength. We here at Bounty Net Comics have experienced continued growth and success purely by offering a refreshing respite from the cultural orthodoxy of access media sites like Kotaku, Screen Rant, Polygon, and a big fucking double for IGN. However, all of these outlets combined cannot match the reach potential of Twitter, and everyone knew it. This buyout could single-handedly sound the victory trumpet for the anti-woke coalition for a number of reasons. This is what they are attacking right now. This is what they are attacking in the news outlet. This is what they are attacking in messaging. Elon Musk is a cultural icon. If Elon Musk had that much money, he should have cured hunger. If Elon Musk had that much money, he should have done this. If Elon Musk had that much money, do you know that last year, Elon Musk, every bit of the money Elon Musk paid the U.S. government was the exact same amount of money the U.S. government paid the UN last year? Why didn't the UN solve hunger in the world? Where did that money go?
All the governments in the world are spending trillions and trillions of dollars every year. They could end hunger if they wanted to. They want to keep you naked and afraid.
Goes on to say, love him or hate him, Musk will do what he wants, when he wants, and he doesn't care who notices. To the radical left, he's become one of their greatest threats. To conservatives, he's a renegade and a rock star who seems to be on their side more often than not. To independents, he's largely a cool cat who enshrined plaid as an actual speed setting in Tesla vehicles. For those of you who don't get the joke of let's go to plaid, brush up on your pop culture. Musk represents a voice championing for a return to normalcy, as opposed to the dystopian hellscape crammed down by force from an intolerant, volatile, and violent leftist establishment. With Musk at the helm, he has indicated that there will be no more witch hunts and political favoritism. Those days are over.
And that has the far left just going nuts because they're losing their grip, the grip that they had on all of the high tech, the big tech companies and everything that were on their side. It's just really killing them. I mean, and some of the actors, so-called actors like Rob Reiner, they're just going on, oh, we can't let Trump back on. We can't. Just all kinds of stuff going on out there. And all of them, Alyssa Milano, I'm leaving Twitter. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. They always say that, but generally they never do, or they come back.
Like this picture in front of us shows us.
Yeah.
The reign of the left, ladies and gentlemen.
Give everybody a fair footing and a place to discuss things and not be silenced. That's not something that they want. They want to control the narrative from the time it starts till they get their way. It's kind of dystopian.
So Twitter right now is number one. It's the number one company that does what it does. Compared to Facebook, compared to others of its kind, it is number one. And if Musk stays true to his word and does away with nefarious practices like censorship, shadow banning, bots, deplatforming, it will become nearly unstoppable. The greatest threat to the leftist establishment is freedom to express contrarian viewpoints without fear of being virtually decapitated, without fear of losing your jobs, without fear of losing your YouTube channel, without fear of being shamed in public square because you don't agree with how they think. Their nightmare just came true and the smell of fear is palpable from miles out. I love the girl. I love the I knew that was coming.
I love the smell of napalm in the morning. It smells like victory.
The cultural left have had ample and valid reason to believe that their dominance was permanent, especially with so many wins in such a short space of time. However, this acquisition by Elon Musk has shown once and for all that their cultural hegemony is not etched in stone. Quite the contrary. They just lost their biggest platform. It's ours now. You know, Dave Bob, I remember Star Trek and Star Wars and people saying it's not yours anymore. It's ours now.
Yeah, they took it, vandalized it, stuck things in it that should never have been stuck. Kind of like children just destroying things because that's what they wanted to do.
The cultural left have had ample and valid reason to believe that their dominance was permanent, especially with so many wins in such a short space of time. However, the acquisition by Elon Musk has shown once for all their cultural hegemony. I read that already, didn't I?
Yeah.
Other corporations infected by the mind virus of wokeism should be shaking in their collective shoes right now, knowing they might be next. If Musk can implement changes that actually make Twitter a profitable force for good, it will send shockwaves throughout the corporate world and send a clear message. Your time's up, big boys. You signed these pacts, these woke-ass pacts. You said we're going to keep doing things this way and we're going to rule the world. And guess what? Now your bitch asses are being pulled into the light, and you've got to admit that you've been trashy little bastards who didn't want anyone thinking anything you did. Except Google and Facebook to think twice before sledging people over the head with the ban hammer, especially as Twitter grows in strength. Musk can show that profitability can be obtained without the moon falling out of the sky and the rivers turning to blood. Could spark a revolution amongst their respective shareholders. And when it does, I can't wait to see what happens on YouTube.
Oh, I heard an idea yesterday that just really kind of, tickled me no end. If Elon could put it to where you could stream on Twitter. Ho, 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 ho.
Of course, none of this is certain at the moment. The news just broke today, but it's foolish to think that Musk hasn't already formulated a plan to roll out massive changes to Twitter's internal infrastructure and operations. Like Dave Bob was saying, if you can stream on Twitter, ho, 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 boy. That means that a handful of pink-haired nose-ring slacktivists squeal themselves out of a job. So much the better. Regardless of what happens, it's a bright and beautiful day, not just for conservative voices, but every single person around the globe who values the principles of free speech, as opposed to being under the thumb of a woke fundamentalist oligarchy. I'm going to say COVID right now, because forever we couldn't say COVID on YouTube. Every time we said COVID, something bad happened, and a COVID thing got put in the description, and YouTube threatened to take your whole channel down. So COVID, 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 COVID. For those upset about the buyout, we can only mirror their exact words. It's a private company. It can do whatever it wants.
I love that. It doesn't have to have free speech. It's a private company. They can do whatever they want.
That's right. The Twitter buyout proved a lot of things true, including the resilient nature of capitalism and how it's tied directly to the desire for freedom to say, do, and think what we want without fear of reprisal. Tyrannical dictatorships hate capitalism for this very reason. And when they try to ride on its back to achieve their goals, it rarely works the way they intended. Just ask Disney, Gillette, Coca-Cola, the NBA, or any major Hollywood studios who have claimed champion a socialist and at times overtly communist cause. They had nothing to say when Jeff Bezos bought the Washington Post, which is why their poo-pooing over Musk's Twitter acquisition is falling on uninterested ears. This is a day to celebrate.
Do you know how much land Bill Gates has bought farmland in this country. He owns just literally so much farmland. It's pathetic. That's scary.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. How ironic that it would come from one of the most universally loathed social media platforms of all time. Perhaps it's Elon Musk wiping the slate clean and establishing Twitter's presence for the purpose it was originally intended to be, which is glorious, in my opinion.
Oh yeah. That one right there makes you want to rip your shirt off and beat your chest.
With Musk in control now, I'm hoping things return to some slight of normalcy. Twitter has always been twatter, toxic, whatever you want to call it. I got banned. I got a perma-ban that I got overturned just because I posted a quote from Game of Thrones.
I had the same thing exactly happen to me.
And you left. You got tired of all this shit and you left.
Yep.
And I don't blame you.
Yeah,
I don't blame
so
you.
Toxic and bad for a while that it was really, really wearing me down. And then when I finally came back, I just said to myself, I'm only going to do this certain amount of time, during the week, and I'm not going to let it get me down. And I had to just totally change the way I thought about it. And that was the only reason I could tolerate it any. But now, man, I think I'm going to be having a good time.
I don't think you're the only one who's going to be having a good time. So the last thing we're going to talk about, ladies and gentlemen, is James Gunn defends Chris Pratt, calls cancel culture campaigns against him utterly false, and says he will never be replaced as Star-Lord. If you take Star-Lord, we all go. Is his words. Now, he's almost done with the new Guardians of the Galaxy movie.
Yeah.
They have been working on that, and Chris Pratt might not be in more Guardians of the Galaxy movies because they might not have any more. But what Gunn's saying is, if you try and replace him, none of us are coming back.
Everybody wants to cancel everybody. I mean, it's if you're conservative or a Christian in Hollywood, you're a target. You got a target on your back. And it's not right. I mean, what the hell?
Megan 2.0, she/her. Marvel, hear me out. Just replace him with an actor that looks.
I'm a first-time home
seemingly
buyer, and I'm using
that-
Realtor.com.
All you gotta do is go to Realtor.com or download the app.
Oh,
We
that
knew
thing
we
needs
had
to
to find a
stop.
house to fit our
Stop.
growing family.
I
Hush.
needed a home office.
And I needed us to not have a roommate anymore.
The 3D tours are awesome.
We could see a place without actually going there.
And real-time alerts made sure I never missed out on the list.
Okay, we're reloading that because, yeah. Could you hear that? Could you hear that music?
Oh, yeah, I heard it.
Oh. Okay, so. Gunn replied, so they want to replace him. Gunn replied, for what? Because of your made up, utterly false beliefs about him. For something that someone else told you about him. That's not true. The director then declared Chris Pratt would never be replaced as Star-Lord. But if he ever was, we would all be going with him. Now, James Gunn came under fire a couple years ago for pictures that came out with him at a, what would you call it, a pedo party?
I'm not real sure what to call it. It was very disturbing, though.
And was subsequently fired by Disney and then rehired by Disney. I wish Disney would make up its mind either way. If the allegations against Gunn were true, I hoped that he would be locked up, that he would face criminal charges, and he would be locked away. If they are not true, then he knows exactly the type of position that this is.
Yep.
He's been here before.
Position a lot of people have been in here in the last few years with the pitchforks and the burning torches going after people that they think, don't conform to their views. So they're going to just cancel you, get rid of you.
And speaking of that, he said, I know the church he currently goes to. Do you? The answer is you don't, but you heard from someone who heard from someone who heard from someone where he goes to church, so decided, yeah, okay, I'll believe this terrible thing. I heard online about this celebrity. Gunn's defense did little to stem the tide of those trying to cancel and lampoon Pratt with insults. One user wrote, it's clear that he is a conservative Christian Republican. His PR team does an amazing job, but his actions only align him with the oppressive groups. It's very interesting that all conservatives, all Christians, all Republicans are aligned with oppressive groups.
Yep.
That sounds very oppressive, doesn't it? We were talking about Amber Heard at the beginning of this live stream, saying she's very open and very accepting, but in reality, she says that. She's exactly the opposite. Very, very interesting that this person wrote this about conservatives and Christians and Republicans, and that those are oppressive groups. Kind of like calling the kettle black, isn't it?
Oh, it's worse than that. It's taking exactly what you're doing and just making it look like the other folks are doing it. I mean, that's their modus operandi anymore. All they do is they scream is, phobes, Yahtzees, whatever. It doesn't matter. If you don't agree with their point of view, you're going to get canceled.
The user then shared Pratt participating in the Black Lives Matter inspired Blackout Tuesday campaign and a post honoring the victims of the terrorist attack on September 11th, 2001. Dave Bob, can you believe that? I mean, we need to just cancel him right away. We need to get him out. He honored victims of 9/11. He honored victims that died in that tower. Here's his words. May we honor the fallen with our continued defense of liberty, one nation under God, indivisible. May we continually pursue a more perfect union, and may we never forget, and I can't reach you the rest of it, but that's just, that's horrible. That's fucking horrible. Liked by over 500,000 people. This is the most horrible tweet I've ever seen. Get him out now. Get him out. Get him out. He's horrible.
Yeah, we gotta get rid of this dude. He's just, makes sense, and he's patriotic. He's conservative. He's just a bad old white guy. He's a cisgender white guy.
And their answer is brainwashing.
Yep.
That's what he needs to go through. That's what they tried to do to Gina Carano. Doesn't matter what happens. I'll never cancel James Gunn, but I believe that Chris Pratt needs to work on his beliefs regarding LGBTQ plus community. Maybe it's a matter of him express himself better. To send him to brainwashing camp. But a work needs to be done to avoid this kind of situation.
Honestly, if you don't agree with them 100% and come to their point of view, they have no use for you. They can't stand anyone being against anything. I mean, if it's something that they like, they're going to try to shove it down your throat no matter what. And I mean, there's a lot of that going on. And, I do have to say, people need to be a little more tolerant, but you can't just shove everything down somebody's throat in your points of views. And I hate to say it, but, They have
Here's
some
more.
pretty crazy ideas out there right now.
And here is more proof of what these people are up to. Guilt by association. Yeah, we know which church he goes to. We know what that church is linked to. If my friend has a homophobic partner and doesn't try to stop their homophobia, then they're homophobic too. He just called James Gunn a homophobe for not getting rid of Pratt. Guilt by association. You are guilty because you associated with this person. This is what these people do, ladies and gentlemen. This is how these people treat you. This is how these people see you. If you don't do exactly what they want, exactly when they want it, they will find any way, shape, or form to try and ruin you or get rid of you and make sure you never make a dime ever again. They want you on the street begging. And it can happen to you at any time. It can happen to you for any reason. All they have to do is give a reason, and it's off to the races. The court of public opinion, in full view, sounding off like they're the best thing since sliced bread, and you've got to believe and you got to do what they want you to do. Hashtag believe all women. Hashtag believe all politicians. Hashtag believe Hollyweird. They have your best interest at heart. They know better than you do what you need and what you need to do to get it.
Yep. They're the elite looking down upon all of us peasants. The sad fact of the matter is they are a very vocal, but not a very big minority. And yet they expect everybody to kowtow to them.
If you're not in line, you're the enemy.
Yep.
This is why I am no longer a moderate, why I got pushed to one side of the fence, and why I will gladly say I am never going back to that way of life ever again.
Yeah, all my life I've been kind of middle of the road guy, leaning a little right. Now I'm tipping a lot more that way.
And it's their own fault, and they only have themselves to blame. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us on this Friday for the pre-recorded show. You all are the best. You all are the absolute best. We have got video coming to you this weekend from the con. We're going to have an excellent live stream. Probably Saturday after the con, we're going to do a live stream. We're going to have video coming to you from the con, and then we're going to have a wrap-up video for all of you on Monday. Until then, guys, take care. Be excellent to each other. Always speak friend to enter, and we'll see you when we get back.
Y'all have a great day, folks.
These videos are tremendous. Like, comment, and subscribe, and hammer that notification bell.